Hello, welcome into the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Our topic of conversation today, legendary Canadian rockers, the Tragically Hip, and their brand new EP, Saskadelphia, which they released on May 21st. This is the first new material from the band since 2016's Man Machine Poem. More notably, it is the first new material from the band since the tragic passing of lead singer and songwriter Gord Downie. He died of brain cancer back in 2017. And if you're not familiar with him, one of the most well-respected Canadian musicians of all time, and for good reason. He found out about his illness pretty much right when they were getting ready to tour for Man Machine Poem and decided to follow through with it. You know, he was a guy that was committed to doing what he loved and doing it with the people he loved right up until the day that he died. And they actually did the last show of the tour in their hometown of Kingston. It was broadcast by the CBC as well to 11.7 million people. That's a third of the country that tuned in to the final performance of this band, Gord's, final performance ever. And so, really, again, just a demonstration of the magnitude that he had, not only as a musician, but as a human being. He is sorely missed by many family, friends, fans. It really is unfortunate to not have him around anymore. It is really cool to have this new EP, and the story about it is so cool. I mean, I'm loving the 6 songs on this record. I love that these come from the Road Apple Sessions, the album that they put out back in 1991, which, I feel like that's like right at the back end of college rock glory days. And I just loved that sound. And I think that the reason that this band didn't get as much recognition in the States as they should have is because very similar sound to REM. I really would argue that Gord Downie sounds like a combination of Michael Stipe and Ed Kowalczyk from Live. But, stylistically, as far as their music, a lot of similarities in that college rock style. There's, post-punk, folk, garage rock, a little bit of rockabilly, and I just love just the good rock and sound that came out of that time period in college radio. And Tragically Hip, a band that I did not get into until later on in my life, unfortunately, really am kind of disappointed in that, but nonetheless glad that I got into them. And this EP is really cool because it is like a time machine back to '91, back to those glory days of when college rock really was at its height, at its best. And these 6 songs come from the tragedy that was the Universal Studios fire. That happened back in 2008. We didn't find out about it until 2019, which is really shiesty. It basically sounds like they tried to cover up what is the most enormous loss of creative material probably ever. The magnitude of this fire and what was lost was so tragic. The master recordings of basically any major artist that you can think of for the last 60 or 70 years pretty much gone. And so the band thought that those Road Apple sessions were a part of that fire, went in, did their research, and found out that they had been transferred back to Canada years before that, and so decided to dig into those and see what was there. Kind of missing Gord Downie as well in that process. This was back in 2019, so a couple years after his passing. And they came across these songs, and I'm really glad that they released them because all of these tracks are great. And the band even says it too. They go back and they look at these and they're like, God, why didn't we do anything with these songs? Because they're really damn good. I'm a big fan of track 2, Not Necessary, track 4, Crack My Spine Like a Whip, and track 6, Reformed Baptist Blues. Probably my top 3 on this record. They do the song Montreal. There's a live version of that track on this EP because they were not able to get the original vocal master for that track. So did the best that they could, followed it up with that live version of the song, which is really just a solid version of it, though. It happens right in the middle of it, and it's an important song to the band, too, so it's cool that they included that on here. But, I'm really just, in light of everything, this project, the fact that we even have it in our hands and the ability to listen to it is really cool, and I think that it's something that Gord himself would be really tickled and pleased by. Phenomenal musician, again, great singer, great songwriter, and it's cool to just have a little more from him and the band, especially back in their heyday, back in the glory days when they were releasing what a lot of hardcore fans would argue was their best material. So I'm going to vinyl please this little time machine of an EP. It's absolutely fantastic. I hope you enjoy listening to this. I hope you find this review helpful. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out the live show on Sunday nights, and we will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.